Yo, yo, alright, how are we team? Good morning everybody, Roberto Hollis here, and I'm joined by the one, the only, Suggie!
Big crowd noise in the background. You'll put that in post, I reckon.
How are you, my friend?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm extremely, awesomely stoked and excited to be seeing you. Check your headphones just a bit. How are you?
I'm good. Had a really good summer break, so just got back recently in Auckland, so ready to get stuck in again. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like my mic's on. Just a heads up. Sorry, I was doing some tech shit, figuring it out.
It's all good.
I can't hear myself.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
there I
okay.
am.
Yeah, wow.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. It's been a while.
Suggie,
Yes. Hello.
where I have heard that you have been on the road with 660.
Yes.
I've heard that you have been gallivanting around, living the social dream on the road, like not even a road groupie. You're part of the band. You are like in the mix. How epic has your summer been on the road with 660?
It was really good. So we're in Australia.
I can't hear your mic now. Can you hear yourself?
I can't actually hear myself. I
There you
thought
go,
that
now
was.
I got you.
Oh, right. Cool. I thought that was.
Sorry
I thought that
guys,
was
they've been swapped around on here.
Oh, okay, right. I thought that was just part of it.
Kanan, come and save the day. No, I think we're there now. I can hear myself. You
Yeah, I can hear
yourself.
myself now.
We're
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Okay,
we're
so-
I
on.
wasn't too sure if I wasn't supposed to hear myself.
No, you're
I don't
supposed
know.
to.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry.
But it feels
this
like
is all new to me too. So
It sounds like yours is louder than mine. Was
no,
that-
it
is
sounds like no,
Is it
yours
something
is
right?
louder than mine. But
okay.
I think I think just got a deeper bass.
Yeah, right, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
buddy, right.
you know. So no. So what was I saying? Yeah. So I was in Australia with them for about 10 days, and yeah, it was just great. It was just great to
How epic has it been on the road with 660?
Oh, it's great. It's really cool because it's my second time on the road with them. So I was in Australia with them maybe 2 years ago as well.
Right, yeah.
And this time I have to say this time was really cool to go on the road again with them but also like getting to know them a bit more. You know, because like the projects that we were doing on this particular tour is because they just released a new album.
Yep.
So we're doing like a behind the track of each song. So so that what that is that you hang out with one of them individually in a different city, and then they talk about like what they love about the city, but also like the makings or the inspiration behind each track.
Yeah, cool.
So,
Okay.
So during that time, it was really cool to get some one-on-one time with them and like as you kind of get to know them a bit more, which is nice.
Context.
Yeah, there's a bit more context and stuff like that, but yeah, also like the show, definitely this time around as well, the shows are a lot bigger now because they're getting bigger and bigger now and all that, and
Yeah.
the Australian fan base is growing, so the shows are a lot bigger, which is so epic to see firsthand as well, because I came in because they just came back, they just did the European part of the tour,
Yeah.
and met them at the airport, went straight to Melbourne, and then I had no idea what was in store for me until obviously the first show in Melbourne, and then I was just like, wow, the show's just grown exponentially kind of thing.
Yeah, cool.
So that was really cool. But yeah, it was because of that as well. It is tiring on the road as well, like especially for them. They just got off like I don't know, maybe a 32-hour flight into Auckland and then straight back on to Melbourne. So in a way, it gets to a point where traveling as well takes a toll. Because like every day, you're staying up late to do the show, then you check into your hotel, and then the next day you're back at the airport going to the next destination. So yeah, it was a lot more tiring this time around, a lot more intense, but and a lot more full, but in a good way though. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah.
So where to from here? You are you going to go? They got some other.
Yeah,
stuff
so they're about to do their New Zealand part of the tour. So their first show's in Wellington this weekend. And I think it's their biggest New Zealand tour yet. They've sold over 100,000 tickets.
Really?
Yeah, and
That's cool for a Kiwi band, eh?
yeah,
That's
which is awesome. And just they've sold out Western Springs again for the second time in a row. So I don't think many artists could say that at all. So that's incredible. But yeah, it's just so we got that those shows coming up, which should be good. And then at the moment as well, I will be working on this documentary on the Mongol rally that I did last year.
That's right. So let's go there. So in a nutshell, you picked up a car that was worth maybe $1,000,
Yeah.
and you drove it from where to where and how long?
Right. So we picked up the car for it was no more than $1,000. So it was about, maybe about 700 or 800. So it was a really, really small kind of crappy car.
And
Second
for 2
hand.
months, 3 months?
It was 2 months on the road. But we bought the car in London, but the actual race starts in Prague. We started in London though.
And finished where?
We finished. We drove through Mongolia, and the finish line is actually in Russia, so you had to go through Russia twice.
So you picked $1,000 car up in London.
Yeah.
And then you drove past Mongolia and finished in Russia.
Yeah.
Over 2 months.
Over 2 months.
Why on earth would you decide to do that?
Good question. I'm still trying to process that right now.
You're raising funds for Voices of Hope.
Yeah. So for this event as well, like the main reason behind it is that you fundraise for a charity of your choosing.
Yeah.
So for us, we chose Voices of Hope, who are this great organization who, they create content to destroy the stigma of mental health. Yeah. And especially what's been going on in New Zealand recently as well. They're doing incredible work and all that. So we thought, my friends and I, we love traveling as well, and especially crazy traveling like that. So
because you had eight dudes, 2 cars.
No, six dudes,
6 guys, 2 cars with $1,000 each for 2 months on the road from England to Russia.
Yeah, and that's about I think in total it worked out to be about 18,000 kilometers. I think. After that trip as well, I was like, cool, I'm not driving again. Well, I'm not doing a road trip again for a while.
Dude. Well, a mission like that, have you raised the money? Oh, no, the doco's got it. So what's the plan? So So you film for 2 months, a doco's going to come out.
Yeah, we're planning on doing a screening. But I don't want to say too much because it's still kind of uncertain of what's going to happen. But so our goal was to raise 50,000 for Voices of Hope, and because the minimum is about $2,000, for any charity of your choosing. But we're just like, screw that, all or nothing. Like we gotta do bigger than that because $2,000's nothing, kind of thing. So we aim for 50,000. So far we've done, I think about 30 to 35.
That's awesome.
Which is great. So hopefully for this screening, we've had chat about like maybe we can use it as a fundraiser as well. But at the moment we're still trying to work out how we're going to reach that goal. Yeah. So that's just one avenue that we've talked about. But we're going to see how we go. So there's no like expectations or anything like that at the moment. But yeah.
So you're on the road trip going through the world on your Mongol rally.
Yeah.
There was a moment, you told me a story that got super sketchy and you potentially could have got shot.
Yeah.
Can you talk about this?
Yeah,
not say the country, but maybe say the situation.
Okay.
So you basically almost got shot.
Yeah, so... it's hard not to say the country.
Okay,
though.
Say the country.
Okay, I'll just say the country. Don't want to... I'll try to do it without the country, but there's this part of the rally where you're driving into the mountains. Yeah. And it takes about 6 to 10 days to go through it because it's the most shittiest roads you ever go on, potholes everywhere, very narrow. Yeah. And obviously, everyone drives, all the locals drive like crazy.
Sketchy shit, yeah.
Yeah, sketchy stuff. And also because our cars are so bad and it's not made for those conditions, there'll be breakdowns every day, pop tires, or,
There's always something.
There's always something, so you never know what's going to happen. So, you'd be camping pretty much most of the time. So, during this part though, pretty much half the time you're pretty much driving next to this other country, like right next to it. So the other times you can pull over on the side of the road and chuck a rock at it. Like that's how close you are. Yeah. Now, because of that situation, since you're driving right by the border, these little military outposts along the way. Nothing big, just like a little hutch with maybe 1 or 2 guards standing there on our side of the border. But we weren't too fussed about it, like they weren't too fussed about us. So that was all good. And then so how we approached this was that every day we'll always pull over at 6 o'clock.
Before it gets dark.
Yeah, before it gets dark to set up camp. And no matter how far we go, because obviously we can't plan how far we're going to get because we just don't know what's going to happen each day. So one of the days these local kids pulled us over and was really excited to see us and was like, come camp on our farm for the night. And we were like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Like, it's about time to set up camp anyway. So we pulled up, We've talked to the dad as well, and the dad was like, yes, you're more than welcome to stay, and that was really nice of him. So, and then as we were setting up camp, we noticed this little military outpost just above us, but like, you know, they just waved at us, and they're like, oh, cool, whatever, cool. And it was a really cool camping spot because there was been like, there's like 10 to 15 kids that all came down, and like was
kicking
just,
the soccer ball, running around.
Yeah, kicking the soccer ball. We played cub with them as well, so we
Played what?
Cub. You know, cub, where like, you know, like you're in teams and you set up like these 6 little blocks.
What?
And then you chuck a...
Man, your childhood was way doper than mine.
You'll know what... I think you know what cub is. All
right.
If you ask anyway, maybe just Google or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, we played cub and played capture the flag with them as well.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, so it was quite funny because one of the boys was trying to... He was taking his time and patience to really explain to them like how to play capture the flag. Obviously, they have no word of English either, so you're doing a lot of miming.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a very special moment anyway. So that was really cool. And then since there was a convoy of maybe 5 cars... every night we always sat in a circle and played this game called Mafia, where I don't know if you've heard of that game either. It's just
clearly your childhood was it's 2 games out of 2. I don't know.
I think anyway, everyone, I won't get into it, but like everyone out there know.
You played a game.
The point anyway. We're playing a game, so usually we play this game every night. But all of a sudden, halfway through halfway through the game, the dad and the guard come by our campsite and start talking to us. And at first, our initial thoughts were like, oh no, I think they've probably changed their minds and
they don't want you to stay there.
They don't want us here anymore. And this is about 10 o'clock in the evening, pitch black. And on this particular part, you don't drive at night because that's when I think it's by law that that's when trucks start driving. Okay. Because trucks can only start driving maybe late afternoon into the night because that's how dangerous the roads are.
Got it.
And the roads are narrow. So that's when the trucks start driving. So it's like, oh no, it's going to be very dangerous and all that. Like our headlights are really shitty as well. Yeah. But thank goodness for Google Translation, because like it took us a while to try and break down what they wanted. So we're just like passing the phone back and forth. Yeah. And eventually we got there, and then we found out that what they said was like, no, you guys can stay here, but go to bed now, or at least turn your headlights off. Because across the border, there's this certain group who usually take pot shots at groups of lights on our side of the border.
Just try and hit one.
Yeah. So we're just like, oh, right. We'll go to bed.
So your headlamps were being seen from potentially the other side, and they were trying to maybe.
Yeah. So I think it doesn't happen all the time, but they were just saying like it's like a potential kind of target practice for the other side. So, so like half of us went to bed, half of us still stayed up, but just turned the lights off and all that. But then what made the situation even scarier was that I slept through this, by the way, but in the middle of the night, one of the boys got a night terror and just started yelling in his sleep, just being like, leave me alone, all that stuff. And so like obviously everyone else freaked out, got up and was like, what's going on? And then the guy who was tenting with him was like, no, it's all right, false alarm. He's just asleep, having a nightmare. But obviously after that, like no one else could go back to sleep after that. Well,
if someone says turn your lights off because you might get shot, and someone has a night terror screaming, I think your sleep pattern's pretty much stuffed for the night.
So that was probably that, and that became kind of like that kind of situation kind of became the norm to a certain extent every day on the rally. So
how did you? How gnarly was it with 6 dudes in 2 cars for that long?
It definitely felt like a lifetime. It definitely did not feel like 2 months. It's just so funny because even during the trip, when you meet other travelers, you know, they ask about what you're doing, and then they eventually ask, oh, when did you guys start? And you'd be like, oh, we started on this day, and they'll be like, oh, so just a month. And you're just like, oh, come on, like it feels like already years, you know.
It's so in.
Yeah, so in just every single day. You start early as well, you know. And
what was the biggest logistical challenge with 6 dudes in 2 cars?
I think the first one was pretty much the size of the car, because like we had of the 6 of us, like obviously I'm small, but
not we had small.
Thank you, Rubit. Thanks. No one's ever said that to me before. But like we had at least 2 dudes who are giants. Like I think probably like as tall as you, because you're pretty tall, I have to say. Well, everyone's tall for me, so that probably doesn't mean much. So, but
I'm taller than you.
Yeah. So but like very sizable. So like, you know, it'll be really crammed with all our bags in there and all that. So, but yeah, like I think there'll be a lot of situations where, because, there'll be a lot of countries that we don't have SIM cards or data.
Yep.
So like sometimes one car will go far ahead than the other because the other car's faster naturally.
Because it has lighter people in it.
No, it's just the car. It was just faster.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
You start switching baggage loads. and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So like, and then we'll lose the other car. We're like, shit with you guys. We have to try find somewhere that has Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi might be too slow anyway, and just so we lose each other every now and then like that. And then, so there'll be situations like that. But there was one other very stressful situation though.
Go on.
That happened where
Passport.
Yeah, passport. Yeah, I've told you this one as well.
Yeah, but no, say it because I think it's gnarly. Because it didn't seem like your planned logistics were that airtight.
No, it's just no. It was well, relative to the situation.
Yeah.
And what we're doing, I thought we were pretty good. I think this was just one hiccup. That was one pretty big hiccup. So I won't name names because I don't want to single them out. But
Steve.
Yeah, we'll call him Steve. How
Steve.
about that? Yeah, Steve. So this is when we were in Turkmenistan. So this is
and for those who don't know, where is Turkmenistan? Because
it's just north of Iran.
Yep.
Right by the Caspian Sea, and it's a very interesting country, should we say. It's got a city called, I don't know if anyone's seen Dark Tourist with David Ferrier. Like, he goes through there, and it's like the city called Ashgabat, where it's like this golden marble city.
Got it.
The most cleanest city you ever go through, but you can't help but wonder what the context is behind it and stuff. Because I think it's a big dictator country and all that. So it's like a front, because once you leave that city, like everything else is desert and villages. So,
got it.
So yeah, so there's a lot of money in this one city. But so we were there, and we only had a 5-day transit visa. So
get in, get out, piss off.
Yep. They don't want you there in the first place, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so by this point, though, there was about 20 to 25 cars in our convoy. Because eventually, like throughout the rally, you just meet up with other teams, and like you eventually, everyone's since there's so many teams, like you eventually like meet other teams that go in the same pace as you. So
yeah, they have similar small shitty cars.
Yeah, exactly.
With a few big rigs in there.
Yeah. So after our second day, we went to this natural gas crater out in the desert. So that's pretty much the main reason why you go to Turkmenistan, to see this massive gas crater that's been burning for the last 70 years, and it's the most amazing thing ever. So that's out in the desert. But then, so the following morning, we still had 3 full days, but we were like, okay, screw it. Let's at least just get to the border today. We might not be able to cross because by the time we get there, we'll probably be closed. But let's just get there today.
Yeah.
And camp there for the night, and then
make it safe.
Morning,
get there.
Yeah, and then we can camp there and then leave first thing tomorrow morning. But at this point, since there was about 20 to 25 cars, everyone's very excited to meet everyone. So a lot of people swap cars and all that.
Yep.
So at the petrol station, we're all living in groups because there's so many of us, and it took ages and all that. So our teammate Steve, Steve hops into another car and goes off, and we're just like, yeah, that's cool. Like we'll see you at the border, and then we're the last group to leave. So we leave, and then as we're driving up, halfway through there's a little breakdown, and then we check on Maps.me, which is like this app that you download maps that you can use offline, because nothing works in Turkmenistan, like no Google Maps. Not even at the hotel was staying at the Wi-Fi. Like,
no 5G?
No 5G, yeah, unfortunately not.
No airdropping?
No airdropping, yeah. So like just nothing worked because everything was blocked. But then as we were like looking at the maps, we kind of realized, oh no, there's actually 2 different borders that we can cross. And then we're kind of like, oh, like that's okay. Because we knew that once we entered the country that they wrote in our documents, like you have to leave at this border. So it's like, okay, so we know it's this one. So we're still heading the right way, which is fine. But then our other teammate, as we're discussing that, then our other teammate, we'll call him
Bob.
Yeah, Bob. Bob was saying, oh no, well, I've got Steve's passport. And we're just like, oh, great. Shit.
So you're in a country with no cell phone reception, no communication. There's 2 ways out, and there's no way to find the other person, and you've got the other person's passport.
Yeah.
So Bob's got Steve's passport.
Yeah.
So Steve is now in a country with an expiring visa.
Yeah, expiring visa. I mean, you only got 5 days to get through this country. So we're just like, so we're like, okay, well, the only plan is though still continue on to this border, because surely they know as well to that can only leave from this border. So, so we carry on driving, and it's getting dark. And then as we approach the border, there's no other cars there. So obviously we're just like, oh, they would have gone to the other border. And the guards were just like closing up and leaving. So we parked up, we were trying to discuss what we were doing, and the guards were like, yeah, we're closed today, but come back tomorrow morning, we're open around this time. But then the other guard was like, oh, actually, can I check all your passports? So we're just like, yeah, sure. Like, so checking our visas. But then after that part, we were kind of thinking, well, shit. Worst case scenario, if the other guys have gone to the other border and get the same treatment, and they ask,
where's your
Steve,
passport?
Where's your passport? And he's like, well, Bob's got it. Like, we're just like, what will happen? Like, will he get detained? Will he?
Probably.
Yeah, you know? So we're just like, crap. So we're kind of like, what do we do? And so we're all kind of, so at this point it's about maybe 4 of us, 4 cars. And we're kind of like, well, okay, well, we know that we can only leave from this border that we're at. And also we kind of maps from where we were to the other border. It was about 3 hours away, but 2 different ways to get there as well. But also, so it wasn't that long, but at the same time, we don't know how bad the roads were. Yeah, because that's the other big consideration you have to take in anywhere you go in the rally. So we're just like, okay, well, what if we go back to that small town, get supplies, and then come back out here, camp for the night, and then if they're not here first thing in the morning, then we'll send a car out. So like, because we don't know either that they might have broken down somewhere, and again, we have no comms and all that. So, and this is where it kind of like kind of takes a twist on our end, where when we go to this small town, there's this wedding on, and as we're driving by, then all the locals are ushering us in, being like,
let's come rage with the foreigners.
Yeah, we're just like, all right, well, we haven't had dinner yet or anything like that. So it's like, yeah, sweet. So they were just like sat us down, feeding us all this food and all that.
At a random wedding in the country that you don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was amazing. Like, everyone was so friendly and so like, it was really hard because obviously I want to ask you so many questions and just have a conversation with you, but it was quite hard because like English was quite limited as well. We didn't know how to speak their language. And then maybe an hour in, one of the guys were like, oh no, like the police are on their way, like we have to leave. Because we won't get in trouble, but these guys will for hanging out with us. So we're like, okay, all right. So we leave, and then by the time we leave the building as well, the police are already waiting for us out there on their megaphones, telling us to get out and all that. So like we're all convoying out of the town, and the police...
cops kick you out of a wedding.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. The wedding and the town, pretty much. So like they like
basically leave.
Yeah, just leave. Yeah. And we're just like, okay, so they escorted us out, all the way out of town, and then we're just like, what do we do now? It's like, okay, well, let's get supplies anyway, because we noticed some supermarkets along the way, and then wait till dark, and then head back to the border. So we got our supplies, and then we'll just hang out on the outskirts of town, just having some food, and then when it got dark, then we headed back, and then as we approach the border again, so it's pitch black and all that, we kind of noticed this one other car coming the other way, and then we noticed it's a rally car, and then then we both screeched to a stop, and then from this other car, Steve pops out, and then we pop
like Jesus,
and we're just like, oh my gosh, you're here, like and so it was like a really like beautiful reunion, just and obviously big hugs all around, and just
in the dark in Turkmenistan.
Yeah, in the dark in Turkmenistan.
With Steve and Bob find their passports and you can get out.
Yeah, so but the funny thing is that as well, because obviously our story is quite funny, because we're like, oh, we went to a wedding and all that, so we're probably a bit less stressed than say Steve. Like, so apparently Steve, they did go to the other border. But then the guards were just not having a bar of them, and then they figure out, oh yeah, we were at the wrong border, we had to go to the other one. And apparently the drive from their border to our one, Steve was just completely silent, just obviously because
he knew he was about to get stuffed.
Yeah, because he's like, what if they've forgotten that they've got my passport and they've crossed already? And so like, and then he's like, and then obviously everyone's like, oh, so what did you guys get up to? It's like, oh, we went to this wedding, and so that was a very definitely one of the most stressful, scary days that we had on the rally.
What did you learn the most about yourself in 2 months on the road, half around the world, almost dying and getting shot?
That's a good question. I think one of the I haven't actually really thought about that. But I think one of them that just pops in my mind now is just no matter what situation you're in, you know, everything just works out. And just I don't know. I felt like I was a lot more mellow, despite the situation we'd be in. Like in the past, I would probably like panic and just get really stressed out, as you've seen in the past as well. But you know,
we'll get there. I was just trying to figure out where have you now got to before we go back to where you were.
Yeah. So I think just from that, it's more just like whenever anything happens, it's more just take a step back.
Yep.
Take a step back and just like, okay, we can do this, or this. You know, it was rather than, or if you panic, it's just like, yeah, have your little panic and then. So I think I felt like I have maybe compared to other times, like mellowed out a bit. Yeah. Maybe. And yeah, that's all I can think of at the moment. But
when crazy things come, it's not, if you react to the moment, you're being reactionary to energy you can't control.
Yeah.
But if you constantly do that as your first thing, you're never actually going to proactively attack it, right?
Yeah, and just, you know, like obviously there were a lot of frustrating moments, like border crossings were just a nightmare. Like it would take at least 6 hours, like 6 hours is a good day.
To get through a border.
Yeah, to get through a border. So this is one of those things where like I feel like I've gained a bit of patience as well. Just like, it is what it is. Like there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
So,
you're on the cruise ship.
Yeah, you just have to do it. And also it's like, this is what we signed up for. Like we knew this was going to happen anyway, so whatever kind of thing. And we're in the, you know, and going through these countries where, you know, you normally wouldn't go through it all. So yeah.
This is kind of, that's a massive shift in headspace in a year since our mission, which is awesome, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because the way you approach these things, the way you react to scenarios is clearly changed, and obviously for the better, because obviously we had one very small incident on our road trip. So for those for context, Suggie, we hit the road for 2 weeks in a camper van. Yeah. So it was actually, to be fair, it was actually a warm up for your 2 months. So
it was a
layup. We drove from Kaitaia to Bluff, went around, did a whole bunch of awesome stuff. But you had an experience and you reacted maybe just a little bit differently. Would you like to tell everyone and share publicly how the Sugster stuffed up?
Yeah. I actually got to release, before I get into it, I got to actually release a clip of that too. So that will come out. But, oh God. So we were in Levin, I think. Yep. Yeah. So it was, to get there though, that was our biggest drive of the day. That was Mel, who was with us. She did, 16 hours of driving that day? We started in Rotorua, right?
Rotorua, Gisborne.
Yeah, Gisborne to Nate.
New Plymouth?
No.
Palmerston North. No, New Plymouth. And then we drove north.
Yeah, and then we drove north. Yeah,
in one day. With 3 keynotes in the day.
Yeah. So she had
anyway, it was a big day.
It was a big day. And then the people who were seeing the following day, like, put us up at one of their beach houses, which was so nice. And obviously, for all of us, it's like, we're going to have proper beds and have a shower and this nice area. And so they take us to this place, and then Mal drives the camper van down by the place. We unload our bags and all that, and then everyone's just, you know, decompressing, and then Mal's like, oh, since you're in the shower at the time, so Mal's like, and Mal just had a shower, so he's like, oh yeah, Suggie, like, can I give you the keys? Can you just reverse before? Because I'm worried that if I leave the car on the grass, like, it might get too wet to leave to get out tomorrow morning. So can you reverse it out right now? And I'm just like, yeah, sure, why not? And then what happened is that I hop in the car and I start reversing, and I'm kind of like, oh, actually, instead of just reversing all the way back up, why don't I do a reverse point, like 3-point turn? Like right first, and then move forward and go up and drive up forward. Like, that would be easier, surely. And then what I didn't know as I was doing this is that when you reverse right, there's this really sandy, like newly put grass on this part of the lawn.
On top of sand.
On top of sand. So I reversed into that. But then, so I realized I got stuck. But then what I did that I shouldn't have done was I kept trying to reverse or keep driving forward. And so
you accelerated in sand when you were stuck.
Yeah. So I got the van stuck. And then
you dropped the van a foot down into the ground with the axle touching the ground because you kept trying to put it in reverse then forward in direct sand with an entire camper van.
Yeah, and it was one
on a front lawn of someone else's house.
Yeah, on someone else's house, and it was a big van as well. It wasn't one of those standard camper. It was like one of those ones where like these sleepers on the front. So it's really dug in there. So I walk back in and I'm just like, and she's like, oh God, what have you done? Because obviously she could hear from the inside as well. And it's like, you've done something. I was just like, oh fuck. And so like I bring you guys out. And this is like, oh, I'm going to come in as well. You guys are already like settled on the couch.
We're about to have a wine.
Yeah, about to have a wine. You already put up your glasses of wine. And then I come in, tell you guys what had happened. You guys come out and you're just like, oh shit. But what happened there though was that, for me, I just froze.
You froze.
Yeah, I just kept apologizing. Yeah. Whereas like you and Mel were just like, okay, like we've got planks of wood and by the fireplace, so shove it in there, yada yada yada. Whereas I wasn't really being productive at all. So, but after many attempts to try to do that as well, it was still stuck. So you had to call an AA to get a tow truck
at 11 at night.
And since we were like in a small town of the Ville, we're just like, I don't even know if there's going to be anyone open at this time. So
there weren't. We paid extra.
Yeah, we paid. You guys paid extra, and so, and then I remember when the tow truck came. I remember his first reaction. It was like, "Oh, I didn't realize it was this big," and I'm just like, "Oh no, oh no!" And then he was like, "No, what we can do is like try drag it on forward first, and then we'll hook it onto the back, and then pull it up from the back." I remember when he hooked it up and you hopped into the van to help him drive as well. I remember the first 2 attempts, the van was pulling back the tow truck, and that's when my heart sank. I was like, "Oh no, this is I've really fucked it." But obviously with persistence, like you guys got it through, and then But I think the biggest, I just like completely froze, just not being helpful at all, just standing there, just.
But what did you? Because what did we say to you? Remember, we gave you a sit down.
Yeah. It was more like, look, like, you can feel sorry and shitty about it. Fine, that's all good. But then add value afterwards. Like,
it's not helping the situation.
It's not helping the situation at all. So, in saying that, so like, I guess, say for the rally, like, I can't say that I ever suggested, like great, solutions or anything, but it was more just the fact that just the headspace though would be just more like, okay, well, we can somehow work this out, kind of thing, and just have patience with it as well. But yeah, so in saying that, but like, I can't say I was ever useful whenever it came to fixing a car or anything like that as well. I didn't do any of that. We just stayed in our lanes. We had me just focusing on photos and videos, and then one member just focusing on admin. And then we had 2-3 guys who did car stuff. Because like we were kind of discussing at the start with like, well, there's no point the other 3 trying to help out because we don't know anything about cars. Whereas you
stay in your lane.
Yeah. So so it was just one of those things. Yeah. So I think just the headspace,
which changed a lot, because the recap from our side was really simple, and it was cool because obviously I heard those other stories of when you'd gone, but it was just a case of massive day. Turned to shit right when everyone didn't think it was, and then your instant reaction was, "Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." But not actually doing any action. And then we were just like, "Dude, saying sorry is not going to change the situation. Like, let's knock this shit out. Let's get this thing out, and then we go back to bed, and it's all good. And then we'll give you shit about it tomorrow." Yeah. But I think the point being, you're just a really shit driver.
Yes. Oh. I have another story.
You are such. I've driven with you. You are horrible.
Yeah, I'm not that good.
You're.
I'm not that good.
It's like, it's amazing because your talent for filming in photos is so incredible, but your driving capability, I literally think I would trust my 2-year-old now to drive better than you.
Fair enough, because because like on the rally as well, there was one situation where I was driving.
It's a mistake. It's already going. It's going south.
Well, I was driving and we were in town. It was like first thing in the morning, so it was like no traffic whatsoever, and we had to. Our brakes was gone, So we asked the taxi driver, being like, can you show us to a local mechanic? He's like, yeah, just follow me. Obviously, I'll drive slowly because your brakes aren't working. So it's sweet.
Yeah.
And then he gets us to the mechanic. So he pulls aside, and then obviously the mechanic's like, yeah, come on up, just come up straight up the driveway into the garage. But then as I'm turning slowly, what I didn't realize is there was like this massive gutter on the side.
It's not what you didn't realize; it's what you didn't see.
Yeah, I didn't see. Yeah, so and the thing is, so we're in the front, and then the other
You
car,
drove it into a pothole.
and everyone's like, Suggie, stop. I was like, what? And then just ka-dunk, and just get the front left wheel stuck there. Right in front of the mechanics as well, so they're just already looking at us, being like, "These guys are freaking idiots," and I'm just standing there, being like, "Oh god, all right."
So you just drove it into a ditch.
I just drove into a ditch. Yeah. So I was just like, "Oh,
Jeez, Sug. Well,
Yeah.
I am so pumped that you've now started to take a bit of a different approach to how you approach things, which is cool,
yeah." So I'm still working on that, obviously, for sure.
dude. It's awesome though because it makes you stress less and focus more.
Yeah.
When we traveled the country together, and we did our big mission, what was the biggest thing that you saw from the kids that surprised you or inspired you?
I think it's one of those things where there's so many moments where a lot of inspiring, especially after when you talked and came through. I remember the moment where you went to your old school.
Yeah.
Like that was something really special because you can tell before that, everyone's kind of like, oh great, just another speaker kind of thing. But because what I loved about what you did was, you kind of will present yourself at their level in a way where you instantly just try to relate to them as well. And so they're already engaged. And it was so cool just seeing after not every talk, I have to say, but like there were like definitely moments where after you leave a school, you can see a switch in everyone being like, oh, like anything's possible. Like I can, if I put my mind to it, and
Why not me?
Why not me? And that was really cool. And you can not just see it, but also feel it as well.
Totally.
So that was just incredible. I think it's just more like not talking at the kids, but more like, like just talking like actually, them with them, and like that was a really cool thing to witness throughout the trip. But also it was quite, there's different moments where it was quite saddening to see like a lot of, also in saying that, also a lot of kids just not having anyone tell them like you can do anything, like realizing that shit, like this is not a common thing that the kids hear, or maybe anyone really hears,
I was surprised at how many kids had not had someone say something really positive to them.
Or even someone just like, I remember like the last school we went to, that moment. Even just something simple, just like, you're good, you're amazing, you can do it. Just something simple as that, but that just, you can just tell that
Unlocked,
And
I think I'd said to you is we said at the end of that video is like we won't know till 10, 15 years later. But those moments matter. Yeah. And it was something, because obviously, we for those who don't know, we did a two-week trip north to south, went to all these sort of schools, including the majority of them were kind of low decile schools, to be fair.
Yeah.
And did it get you sad seeing sadness in certain spots? Like it wasn't hopelessness, but there was a weird. It was some of the places we went to was definitely a different vibe, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I wouldn't say. Maybe it was a little bit of not hopelessness, but just like I think you're right. I think you've put the nail on the head there. It's more just kind of like it was a real shame just to see that this is still, the conditions and stuff. It's still a huge thing in New Zealand. Kind of like these kids just not knowing anything bigger than the environment in a way, and so what kind of inspiring exposure they can get. I don't know. It was surprising. It was just more surprising that it was quite a lot more common than we thought it would be.
Exactly. Yeah. The seeing that sadness or hopelessness in a bunch of young kids' lives. Like I remember when we stopped in Kaikoura.
Yeah, that was a big one.
We stopped in Kaikoura. There was only maybe six of students in the room, and after it was so heavy that I remember Mel pulled aside and was just like, I need a moment. And we stopped and we just kind of like sat there for about 20 minutes like, holy shit, this is our country. Like this is the shit.
Yeah.
And it was really confronting, right? Because you know, not that we're waving the flag of positivity and rah rah rah, like we're going to do it anyway. But seeing a 15-year-old that had been kicked out of home at 14 and lived by herself.
Yeah, for the last 3 years.
For the last 2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
I think she was 16 then. Yeah, kicked out of home at 14, lived by herself for 2 years, disowned by basically all her family, sitting there just like looking at like, what is my future now? Like, just kind of like stuff it, you know? And you're like, you're 16.
Yeah.
You're 16 and you're saying stuff it.
Yeah.
You know? And so we always talked about like those breadcrumbs, like what could we create? What could we do? What's a little thing that we could do to add value? And like those little moments were something that, and people ask me about like, how was the trip? And I was like, it was so rad to do it, but it was scarily eye-opening to big gaps that exist in our society for positivity for our youth. It was massive.
Totally as well, because I remember before we started as well, we thought it would just be simply, we'll go to these schools, do our thing, and then go to the next one. But like each school was just so different energy. So, and each time you always got something different out of it as well. Like, so that was, it was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think because we both obviously care, but seeing it just gives you a different sort of eye-opening experience to it. How did you, after seeing literally top to bottom of New Zealand, how do you think we can do a better job with trying to inspire these young bucks? I mean, we tried a strategy, right? It's one small thing and one little thing, but like, how do you think we could try and do better? Or what were some insights you saw?
I think what would be maybe one point could be, say, in like one town or one region, even the schools doing more things together in a way, like
collectively.
Yeah, collectively.
Okay.
You know, like, 'cause I think it's still kind of like the school on its own, and then like everyone's still kind of like say, I'll personify the school like everyone for themselves still in some sense, maybe like, so maybe like building,
patchy. It's still
it's still patchy. So like so maybe just growing more of a community in a way where it doesn't matter what background you're from. Like, if everyone comes together in that way, that could be a start. I think. But that's just one strategy, I guess, or one kind of particular.
And then I was going to ask you as well. We got down to, where do we get to? Dunedin.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation at night, and then you went for a little solo walk.
yeah, that's right.
And I gave you a bit of a rah-rah.
Yeah.
What was the rah-rah about? Because I think there was another moment that you had that I thought was really insightful, because a lot of people of what you were feeling not only went through, but are feeling.
Because I think that moment as well, it made me realize this is exactly. I feel like I was one of the school kids, pretty much, being like I put like a limit on myself, and also I think the big one was, I think he's saying to me, I know you're asking yourself like, why me, but you change the mindset to like, well, why not you? Like,
hell yeah.
You know?
So yeah, the context was super simple. You know, I've known you for a bit and you've been creating and doing such amazing stuff, but it was very clear on the trip that you still didn't think you were good enough. You still didn't think like you were worth the props and the praise and the cred and the kudos and whatever. And I remember like literally I flip and gave you a rah-rah, and I'm like, stuff that. You'll wake up with regret at 30, at 40, at 50 if you don't flip and go and get it, man. Like, you're good and you're great. What's that unlock? Why are you not embracing your own greatness, right?
Yeah.
You know?
And that was like a huge reflection on what the whole tour was, right? So I was just like, whoa, like actually.
The irony.
Yeah, the irony was like, oh, this is actually for me too, you know? Like, and, you know, and it's not just, it was a clear example that it's not just for these young people. It's like, it could be for anyone that's, you know, going through that or has that mindset. So yeah, that was a great say breakdown that you gave me.
It was an unlock because I know, and I've said like, if people are like, dude, I reckon Suggie's one of the best epic creators that will be flippin' epic, you know. And then it's like when you did, you know, little pieces, and like now even like you can see, you know, for a huge example is the Savage thing that you recently did, right? That was your first kind of time directing. It's your first time sort of stepping up into this world. It's your first, you're starting to the push. And I don't know if when I first would have met you, you would have thought you earned that right to be able to direct a video clip for Savage. I didn't. I think your headspace has changed, especially in the last year.
Yeah.
To be like, you know what? Yeah, I can take that on. Shit, yeah, I'll give that give that a nudge. How's your mindset changed to so the Savage thing? Like, talk through that. Like, where'd you had a bit of an unlock, and then how did you then decide to approach your creativity and your work differently? Because your career path, if you look at from even just the last 24 months, it's just like and it's you're starting to ramp, right? So talk me through that.
I think like just over time, I think the big one is like, well, fuck it, if it fails, and that's okay. I think, and it's just like, if I was gonna, it was more like, if I'm gonna do this, like, why not now? And like, if I'm gonna fuck it up, why not now?
Why not you? Why not now?
Yeah, kind of thing. So, and what was interesting about the Savage one as well was that, because since him and I have known each other for quite a while, just on and off over the years, and so, I think, and around that time, before he asked me to come and co-direct with him, I was creatively, I kind of had this shift as well, where I realized, I'd like to actually do more directing as well, and all that. And then the Savage thing came up, so it just kind of aligned in a way where it's like,
why not you?
Yeah, why? Yeah, sure, fucking A, awesome. And also, I think when I kind of broke it down, so it was nice. It was so nice that I was super grateful that he approached me because it was such a personal story for him that the fact that he came to me about it was really, really, really amazing. And so again, I think I just when I had that shift, I was kind of like, well, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to give this a go. Like, screw it. And like, he's entrusting me to tell this personal story. So there must be something that he sees in me.
100%.
So I'm just going to have to go for it. And like, just, and not worry about too much about the end result. Like, I think that's a big one as well. Cause I'm always like, it's so natural to always be like, but like, what if it doesn't work out? Or what if it does this kind of, that's more like, no, just like take it one day at a time. Like, just do the process.
But that exact point is right. Most people stop, say, this might happen, so I'm just not going to try. This thing might happen, so it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And the reality is, stuff all that noise.
And it was, I think it was more just like giving less of a shit than before. Like, I think I still give a shit, but like, but from it comes from a different place now. I think it's more like, not like, I don't care, I'm not going to put any more effort into it. It's more just like, more just like kind of believing, like, well, yeah, there's a reason why he must have asked me, but two, like, I might not be too sure what's going to happen, but screw it, like, how does anyone know what's going to happen? So
so you
just go for it.
So you're focusing on the product, not the people, like the opinions of others opposed to the product that you're creating. Like, you're focused on the creation.
The creation, not
the afterthought of what comes after that creation.
Yeah, because like, don't get me wrong, I still, like, obviously times I still think about that, like, what are other people going to think? But over the years, I've learned that after watching like so many other creators and musicians and all that that inspire me, a lot of them, what I've noticed in their creative process is that, yes, like, it's obviously when you create something, it's always great to create something that everyone loves or like a lot of people love. But in the day, the most important thing is it something that you love. Create something for you first. And if you love it, then everything else will follow naturally, kind of thing. So it's more like focus on what you want to create and what you love and what resonates with you. And then from that, then everything else will just come with it. So
many people are too fearful to take the jump of doing it because out of fear of what others will say after what's been created. So nothing gets created and then nothing happens.
So and again, just even by saying that, even there are some other videos that I've done, I'm kind of like, I still like, there's a little bit of like, I think this is what people expect from this kind of video, so I'm going to do it that way. So there's still a little bit of that, but I feel like now that, but because I'm kind of more aware of it though, that I feel like it's just a step-by-step process. Like, cool, like I know I'm heading in that direction. It's like, cool, I'm going to get to a point where I am going to be comfortable at creating what I want to create first, and not worry about what other people think, and then focus on the product And if it resonates with people, cool. If it doesn't, that's cool too. Like just being okay with that, because before I was so concerned about that all the time and wanting everyone to love it. And yeah, so I think just caring less about that has really helped. Yeah.
Because you just had a birthday 2 days ago. Monday. Yeah. So how old are you now? 12.
I still feel like 12. I still feel really young.
Can't drive.
Still can't drive.
So how old are you now?
I'm 27 now.
But don't you feel it's better to be at a spot where you're comfortable with your own creativity at 27 and creating things that you feel that matter now than not creating what you really, really wanted and then having regret and fear for others?
Yeah, exactly.
So you've actually, if anything, in my opinion, would be at 25, you had the talent but didn't believe in it. At 26, you became aware of how great you could be. And then at 27, you're like, no, I'm going to create what I want to create and I'm going to create what I love.
Yeah.
And if people aren't down with it, that's totally cool. And if people want to mess with it, sweet. But either way, I won't have regret. Is that kind of where your headspace is at now?
Yeah, totally.
Isn't that cool?
I think like when you break it down that way, it sounds really, really
chess,
cool.
Bro. Long game. Flipping long game.
You know, so yeah, no, it's been really cool. And it definitely was from that moment on the Tall Poppy trip that we did. So
yeah. Good on you, bro.
I got to thank you for that, man. For sure. Thank you. But,
dude, it's... Yeah. I know, I always just kind of feel personally invested when I can see like epicness in others. And the same way we'd go down and do those, like that trip and those kids haven't heard it, I'm like, anyone that I'm close to that I know is dope, I'm like, dude, you're flipping dope. Do you. Create. Go. Stuff everyone else. Because... like I think it's important, and then those who are doing things like, you know, the last couple of days, you know, I talked to Rob Campbell, was like, you know, you're representing something greater than yourself for those that look like you that don't think the same way. Said to Aroha, I was like, you're awesome and amazing because the way you tackled, you know, your health stuff is such a positive thing for others. The way you, for your creativity, it's that you don't know, if you didn't have that breakthrough moment for you, you wouldn't have done the Savage thing, and what that Savage video has now meant for so many people. That's directly because of you. And it's affecting others in a positive way that you're not even aware of yet.
No, I'm not aware of that actually.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you think it's the same way, like the 15-year-old in Cromwell that we met.
Yeah.
Her life at 30, I know, is going to be way, way different because of our moment.
Yeah.
Things that you create have impact so much more. Like even, you know, when we did our Play This at My Funeral video, that's had massive, like people reached out to me like, I cried.
Yeah. Like
big corporate executive people, like I saw that and cried. And it was like, you created that. This was your creativity. So I think you should be really proud that like you're out of your world of what you're doing. It affects way more. You create a lot more breadcrumbs through content because obviously it can go anywhere than people aware. So like triple down on that shit, you know?
Thank you, Revit. Yeah, definitely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hells to the yeah. Obviously a lot of work, still a lot of work to do, but
no, I get it.
But you know, still heading that way, you know. So
where to? What's actually? I was going to ask you about the Place at My Funeral video.
Yeah.
You knew me.
Yeah.
But I don't think you knew me.
No.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I met you only once before,
but we've been connected online and homies, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've just seen you through the videos that you put up, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we obviously got connected through a mutual friend though. So yeah.
So the that video.
Yeah.
How do you feel if you were to create your own Play This at My Funeral video for yourself? What would it show?
Oh, probably similar to you, just as in a way where it's like just constantly on the road, I guess. But also definitely not as extreme as you. I remember when there were definitely moments in the Plays at Me where I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna have an afternoon nap now. That's all good. See you guys, you know. I think it would be. What do you mean, like specifically, or just?
Yeah, like what? Like how would for those that didn't get you, what would they want them to remember about you if you died tomorrow?
Oh God.
Or like what you represented, or what you're about, or what your vibe was.
I hope it's just a genuine joy from what I do, I think. And yeah, sure, it's amazing to do the Mongol rally and go on tours and stuff like that, and that's all great too. But I think the most important thing, like, is the joy and the show that I genuinely love what I did, rather than just like, yeah, this is what I'm doing and it's cool, but I don't actually like it, kind of thing, or like it just looks good, kind of thing. I hope just genuine joy comes through that. I think also at the same time, I don't know, it plays a video, like I say, a week with me compared to it would be like a lot of just me sitting at the laptop just editing, so it wouldn't be as exciting for sure. But I think just genuine joy and just positivity, I think, would be a big one, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I think what
genuine love for it. Yeah.
The next layer of that is you're living a life without regret.
Yeah.
You're doing shit that you would be proud to do, and you're not fearful of all the stuff that you have done, and it was the right thing because you love what you were doing. And I think many people don't get that. Yeah. And
I think that's something I'm trying to, the one thing I'm definitely working on is gratitude, I think. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a big one. Like I even remember like mum even telling me recently, it's like, because she was like, oh, yeah, how's it going and all that. Like, it was like, I think start of last year, I think. Yeah, and I was just kind of like, I think it's going, well, I've been happy for the last year. I was like, I think it's going okay and all that. And then she's kind of like trying to like ask me, like, oh, yeah, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. Just like, I think I'm, like, there's obviously some stuff that I'm doing that I'm not exactly enjoying doing, and I'm kind of think to myself, this is what I signed up to do, but I'm not really enjoying it. She's like, look, like, just, like, if you really think about it, like, no one can say that they've changed their passion and their hobby or whatever, their passion and stuff, into a career like you can. So just take a moment and think about that, and be proud of what you're actually doing. You are creating for a living, which is what you love. Yeah. So, and that really hit me as well. I was just like, wow, I don't even think mum ever told me that before, but yeah, nice. So that was, so big props to mum for saying that too for me. And yeah, so I think so after that as well, that was like, I need to start, being a bit more, just working on gratitude a bit more as well. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, big. And so where to next for the rest of this year? Where you're at? What are you doing? What's bubbling? Maybe America trip?
Yeah, that's definitely on the cards.
New York.
Yeah, I'd love to go to New York again, and probably even LA as well. I think more this year, I definitely want to really create my own thing, like still work, obviously still work for, do some work for people and all that, but I think really focus on honing on my craft and like honing on like, okay, what is it that I want to what I want to build?
There you go.
That's actually my own, because there's a little bit of, even with the doco that I'm working on, there's a little bit of behind the scenes stuff that we don't have to get into. But it's called politics and business. Yeah. Well, yeah. So from that.
Welcome to the world of business.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's only taken me 3 years to really realize it, but like it's but it gave me it was a really good learning curve and a really good push to be like, okay, cool. From this point on, when it comes to any of that kind of stuff, control. I'm doing it on my own. Like, I'm going to do this, like, and get a team of my own kind of thing to do this kind of thing and achieve that. Control. So that was a big one. So so that's a big one for this year. Nice. But I definitely try go to the States for a little bit. Maybe, yeah. So it's a mega good yarn. So people want to track you down, follow you, figure out where to go. Where can they see some of the stuff? Where can they go? What can they do? Feel free to plug your shit. Okay. This is one thing I haven't really done much, but so you can go on Instagram and Facebook, and it's Suggie Space. So it's SUGGIESS, so 2 S's, PACE, because people tend to forget that they only put in 1 S, so they can't find it. Probably should have thought of a better name, maybe.
We've got some branding issues that we can talk about.
Yeah. So Facebook and Instagram, that's where you can find my work usually. Yeah.
Suggie Space, Instagram, Facebook. The music's going to slowly come up. We're going to slowly tap out. Yeah. Awesome yarns, good vibes, good chats.
Yeah. Thanks so much for bringing me on board. It's been awesome. It's been good to catch up as well.
Hell yeah.
But again, no, thank you so much for everything as well, Robert.
Dude.
So, thank you.
I got you back. It's all good. Shot, brother.
Thank you very much.
Been with my boy Suggie, absolute beast weapon creator. Check him out. Enjoy the rest of the day, team. Creativity, do you, no regret. Giddy up. Yo.
What do we do now?